Qualitative research seeks to obtain rich insight and details about behaviors, events, preferences, thoughts, or emotions. One method of obtaining that insight is to use verbal accounts from the research participants themselves by interviewing them. Interviews are a very common data collection approach. They can be used as the main source of qualitative data in some research designs, such as grounded theory. Or, interviews can also be used to support other data collection approaches. For instance, in an ethnographic study, they can complement observations. One advantage of using interviews is the ability to follow up on issues emerging during the interview itself, while still ensuring that you cover all the topics that you identified as necessary to answer your research questions. It is a very flexible method. Still, it's important that you plan your interviews carefully. Not just the questions themselves, but also the degree of structure, the number of topics, or the setting for the interview. Failing to plan will affect the quality of the insight and the credibility of your study. You can interview research participants individually or as part of a group. Group interviews are valuable when you not only want to obtain the participants' view, but you also want to generate interaction between them. Traditionally, interviews have been conducted in person, face-to-face, but technologies such as telephones, social media, or discussion forums may be used for individuals as well as group interviews. Technology gives you flexibility and may be cheaper than meeting your research participants face-to-face, but it does not work for certain topics, particularly those requiring a reasonable level of trust between you and the interviewee. Interviews can generate a lot of data, so you also need to develop protocols for recording and storing the data that you collect. You also need to make notes of the context of the data collection, for instance, whether there were any interruptions or how the interview reacted to particular questions. You should keep a notebook to capture these details, as well as your own actions, feelings, and emerging thoughts. While interviews may seem like a very intuitive approach to collecting data, you should not underestimate the time and effort required for their preparation and for the collection and analysis of data.